And there is one person who's just born in Puttaparthi district, born in Sri Satyasai devotee, studied in Ishirama school in grade 4th onwards, entirely under Swami's fold. Sri Balu Subramaniam Karanam. He did his master's degree in Sri Satyasai Institute of Higher Learning. Since then, he has been like part of Swami's organization throughout. He has been a regional devotional coordinator, president in Greater Baltimore, and Region 3 president, and now serving Sri Satyasai Global Council as a national president. Without taking much time, Balu, we request you to share your experience and glory of Swami. Sai.
Sarvarupadaram Shantam Sarvanamadaram Shivam Sachitanandamadvaitam Satyam Shivam Sundaram. Offering my most humble salutations at the lotus feet of Swami, who is in all names and who is in all forms. He is the being awareness, bliss Atma. He is the truth, auspiciousness, and ultimate beauty of our lives. Sisters, brothers, and members of the Texas Sai family, Sai Ram to all of you. Thank you for this wonderful opportunity to talk about Swami on this auspicious occasion of Aradhana Day. I know the technology Swami used to name as technology. Always we get into trouble with technology. That's what the only technology he used to prescribe is the love. That is the only thing works in this world perfectly. My journey started, everybody's journey started in this small village near Puttaparthi. It is so happens that today this village is in Satyasai district. So it's about 27 miles from Puttaparthi village. It's those days village itself. Now it is a district headquarters for all of us. So I was born here. My parents are devotees of Swami. My father was a Karanam of this village. Karanam meaning the CFO, CEO of the village those days. So we had everything. We had, lands, cows, everything. We were living organically. By the way, I tell all my friends, we lived organically, but some people, made us live inorganically. Now we are forced to live organically in this country. So that's the life, but we lacked something in this village. This village lacks education beyond 5th grade. So we had only the primary school, which, after 5th grade, we need to look for the nearby village or, big towns nearby like that. So in that way, like most of the children, especially girl children, stopped their education after the 5th grade. Can you imagine? That was the situation with that. It is so happened that because of, Swami is starting this wonderful school called Srimati Iswarama High School, where this foundation Swami is putting. That foundation is the foundation for most of us who got education. Can you imagine? That is the one of the, boon Swami gave to Mother Ishwarama, that, education, medication, and water, which he fulfilled, and staying in Puttaparthi forever. And this starting of Ishwarama High School drawn our family, who are I was the youngest among 6 children. So the rest of them moved to Puttaparthi, and my eldest brother getting a small job in the bank, State Bank of India, helped quite a bit in setting up the family there. So except me, everybody moved to Parthi. So if you look at, this is the age I came to know about Parthi. This is my 3rd sister and my 2nd brother. They joined Parthi, and they came back and told beautiful stories about their new school, how Swami used to send apples and laddus and all to school. I used to wonder whether they go to school or some kind of a temple, because you get all those prasadam, that kind of things in the temple. But I was very much excited to receive them and receive the more information about Parthi. So once my brother came and said that the Swami has two pets. One is Sai Gita, the elephant, and another one is Sai Kishore, which is a camel. Camel is little lesser known actually. So he said Sai Gita garland Swami when he calls Sai Gita. So I was so much excited to see the elephant, all like garlanding Swami. This was, I have not yet gone to Parthi. So that made, this is the school actually, there is the Ishwaram High School, which made our family to move to Puttaparthi. My brother, so I reached Parthi, my brother took me to this beautiful place called, today's Sai Kulwant Hall. It used to look like this in, late 70s. So actually I know that my 44 years of experience, I need to put it in 40 minutes or so. Let me try my level best. So this is the way we sat in, this corner. I was asking my brother when Sai Gita is going to come and garland Swami. Actually, I more than, I want to see that. Then my brother said, here there are volunteers. They will throw you out if you talk too much here. So that's the first, be silent is the message for me. So we sat and Swami came and, my brother said, touch his feet. See, that is the first touch, first Pada Namaskar in my life. So later on, when we came home and after a lot of deliberation, I told, I want to be with you. I want to be in Puttaparthi. I don't want to, stay in village alone. But even though my parents are in village, they said, you are too young to come to Parthi. But I said, no, I would like to be here. They were worried that I'll cry every day for my parents. So upon a lot of deliberation, they put me into this school, which is my primary school in Puttaparthi village. Basically, this is a wonderful school where Swami himself studied from first grade to fifth grade. Here is the attendance register. 1936, Swami studied, as R. Satyanarayana, his Swami's name was. So we are double degree kind of, some of the students we studied in school. Later on, we studied in the schools and colleges, built by Swami. We have this double degree called, we are alumni of a school where Sai is the alumni, and we are also proud student alumni of Satya Sai Institute of Higher Learning. So this is the Swami's education, you all know very well. After Uravakonda, 1940, after 9th grade, he threw the books so that he gave the books to all of us, not only us, he gave the jnana to every one of us. That is it. I started. When I was in that school, one day, one of my friends said, hey, come, I'll show you one wonderful person. So he took me to one lady sitting under the tree in the South Prashanti area. We both went as if we are very big people, like we're small guys in my 4th grade. I joined for my 4th grade. So we went to this lady. Her name is Gali Sharada Devi. Those who don't know that name, it's a Pedda Bottu. Because she used to wear that big bindi, she was called, Pedda Bottu. Amazing thing about her is she served Shirdi Baba, means she has seen Shirdi Baba as a small child, and she served Swami in her old age. Imagine in one life, 2 Sai avatars. So we went to her. Then my friend only introduced it. I didn't even know who is Shirdi Baba also, let me tell you. So then he said, she has seen Shirdi Baba and she's serving Swami. So we went to her and we said, grandmother, we want to touch your feet. So she immediately, see, that is the humbleness of those great devotees. She said, you should never aspire to touch my feet. You should touch Swami's feet. See, why I'm saying is no self-aggrandizement. They are so humble. Imagine if we would have seen both Sai avatars, it is very difficult to hold us. That's the way Swami has blessed her. So that kind of people were there in Puttaparthi. Nothing like, Swami is important. All others are not that important, kind of. Not even themselves, they are not important. That is the first lesson. Then as I started studying, and my sister, they're all planned a nice drama from Ishwarama High School that is directed by none other than Swami's sister Venkama Garu, who used to live in the village. So she directed. That is nothing but of you know uh, flowers fighting to reach God kind of concept. I sat down and watched this in Purnachandra. I thought, will I get the opportunity to be like that? See, that's the way, like when we see them, you feel like doing, and you feel like going close to Swami. That's this kind of a sibling rivalry, I can call it. That is Bharti. The Bharti, every day you have the cultural activities. Swami students from Vrindavan in 1979, they presented this beautiful drama called Kingdom of Heaven. This is the story of Jesus' life, which I never knew, because in our village, I always used to think there was only two religions in the world. One is Hindu, other one is Muslim, because that is only my village is made up of. So because the Christians in India, they don't live in small village. They used to live in the big cities. There only you have churches also. After coming to Parthi only, I got introduced to this, different religions, all that, the Sarvadharma Stupa, all that. So this is a beautiful drama directed none other than by Swami himself. In this drama, like we were all those days, Parthi, they used to allow the children to sit front to watch the drama. Behind us used to be Swami watching the drama. I still remember the person who acted as Jesus in the drama is none other than Brother Rupak. So the introduction scene. So when the Jesus comes to synagogue, there are birds were caged, by sellers. Jesus, being a compassionate being, he comes and opens up all those cages, because he can't bear caged birds. All those birds went on our head. See, that is a wow moment for children like us. Believe it or not, even today, if I go to a church, many churches I visited, and when I went to my scientific conference also. So, whether it is Westminster, church in Paris, or Montreal, when I close at the altar, I see these birds. That is the power of introduction of Jesus by none other than Bhagavan. So, and another beautiful thing about those days is Swami was so easily accessible and available, and what we call Sulabha Prasannaya Namaha is one of these names. Those days, one day there are 6 families, including ours, built home in Parthi, and Swami casually in the darshan, he asked, when are you doing the Grow Pravesh, saying that when are the housewarming. So these people were just say, Swami, please tell us. Swami said, I'm coming tomorrow. Can you imagine? Swami decides the date. Swami decides the muhurta. So he comes. It's very beautiful to see Swami, doing the housewarming. 6 houses. He comes to each house, head of the family of that house, garland Swami. This is my brother, going like a security guard for Swami to each house. Can you imagine? Those were the days. Then the head of the family, garland Swami. Swami goes inside the house. He touches the fruits and flowers. And also there is a milk, fruits and flowers. Swami just touches them. The lady of the house gives the, harati to Swami. Just that's it. And he comes and goes to the next house, goes to the other house. Like that, he finishes so quickly 6 houses, and finally took a nice picture. Can you imagine? You look at here. They didn't even put, like a cement. See, the houses were not ready. But when God comes to home, that is the real housewarming. Like that's what is it's all the significance is about. And if you look at, they didn't even put a carpet, they put a rangoli, but not even flowers. Can you imagine? That were the they didn't even take care of that, but Swami came. See, those were the days. we could see all these things, and Swami inaugurating even the new building for bank and materializing 3 gold coins in the bank, saying that where is the, he is the one who gave the first money to the bank. Can you imagine? Puttaparthi. That's what is Swami's those days. And also Swami paying tributes to the parents, because since there was no such science of higher learning, the college was only in Vrindavan and Anantapur. Swami on 22nd November, he used to come in a chariot and used to pay tributes to the Mother Ishwarama and Pedavenkaram Raj Garu. This is Swami is showing. Swami is always, it doesn't say do it. He'll show it so that we can do it. See, that's the way Swami shows us, and he shows us the path. Following him is, the easier thing. So that is the time we used to sneak around, Samadhi of Ishwarama and, see Swami close by. And then the inauguration came, the college inauguration. I didn't even know that whether I will be, in that. I joined Ishwarama High School. This is the school after 5th grade in my village school in Puttaparthi. I joined the school. Later on, while joining, Johns Hopkins School of Medicine here in USA, I read this. It touched me so much. Swami says on opening of, Ishwaram High School on 20th July 1972, which is going to be celebrated at 50 years. Swami says this school will become gateway for rural children to higher education. You have seen my village. I went to Johns Hopkins. When I read this after joining Johns Hopkins, I felt it is his word coming true, not my effort. Because Swami's word is so powerful. It will come true because his name is Satyam. So in this school, we had, this is our, first, hostel warden, Nityananda Menon sir. And also Kasturi Garu is, here, that side. Swami used to come regularly, and you can see, a devotee like Aldrecker here. Swami used to come for all the games in the, like sports. That is the time the ground was taking up shape. So one such occasion, we were very much interested in cricket. There were 2 very important cricketers visited Puttaparthi. I was in my 6th grade or so. We were so crazy. Even now we are crazy about this cricket, which English people left in India unnecessarily, I feel. So we wanted their autograph. So at the night 8:30, we were roaming in the mandir for getting autographs of these 2 cricketers. So then we were caught by, our teacher, Ishwarama High School teacher. He said, why are you guys roaming around here at late time? He said, sir, we want the autograph of these cricketers. See, then this teacher told us, autograph of Swami is more precious than the visiting cricketers, because they are coming for Swami. You are giving more important, than the Swami. Actually, they may be little masters. Masters of the masters is Bhagavan Sri Satya Sai Baba. So we should never go behind the celebrities or the devotees who came to Swami. Swami is more important than any one of them. So our relation to Swami, our relation to Prasanthi Nilayam should be more precious than our relation to any uncle, auntie, or anybody. See, this is what told by our teachers. We are so proud that we had such teachers, even at, like very young age. They guided us in a correct path. Then comes my mother, grandmother, who is a Swami's classmate in Bukkapatnam. I mention always her because at the 12th grade, after my 12th grade, in India, there was a funny exams called, there is one for engineering, one for medical. So if you are good in math and do very well in engineering, you become an engineer. If you are good in science and do well in that exam, you become a doctor. That's all. After 12th, you are decided what to become, what not to become also. So I wrote this exam. I failed in my engineering exam. So I had to go back to Puttaparthi college for BSc. We were in a family function at one place. My cousins, hooligans, were making fun of me. They were saying, "Oh, you didn't get engineering. You will go to Puttaparthi and you become a sannyasi." Sannyasi in Telugu also means useless. So I was bit hurt. That is the time my grandmother, who was there in that function, came to my rescue and said, "ఈ గాడిదలకి ఏం తెలుసు పుట్టపర్తి విలువ." That's the way she used to speak. She says, "What these donkeys know the value of Puttaparthi? Swami is giving you 5 more years of, opportunity to stay with him. Ayana Paramatmudu." This is what she told. He is God incarnate. Can you imagine a classmate telling about Swami? Today we have people who mimic Swami, who act like Swami. If they can get this certificate from their classmates that he is Paramatmudu, it is impossible. This is possible only to Bhagavan Sri Sathya Sai Baba, because he is God incarnate. What makes her to tell and tell? She told me, you are blessed with a college seat. Your life will change. I think about her at every minute of life. See, that kind of effect Swami had on his own classmates. Can you imagine? Go and tell your classmate that you are God. See what happens. See, that is the way Swami, because he touched her. When she lost her husband, Swami writes a beautiful letter to her saying that you come and stay in Parthi. You enjoy all this. These are the people already staying. This life itself is Jagat, coming and going. You come and enjoy this Sai Vaibhavam, Swami says. See, he has taken care of his own classmates. He is ideal in every aspect. Then, you join the college and you feel like you should sing in the mandir. So I also did that. I asked Swami, I want to sing. Swami, padalani undi. We used to ask every day, we used to bother Swami. Swami said, Manchidi padu. Manchidi padu in the sense, Telugu, we don't know whether the punctuation exists, because Swami will say something and walk away. Manchidi means good, sing. Manchidi Padu means sing a good one. We don't know what it is. So I went back and asked these elders who, uh, singing in the mandir. They said it's not that easy to sing in the mandir. They said you have to sing in the hostel. If you are good, then we'll make you to sing in the college. Then if you are good, when Swami comes to hostel, we'll sing. I felt it is like Tirupati Sarvadarshanam, in the sense, in Tirupati you are in a long queue. You will never see God. We don't know when to see God. So that's why I went ahead writing poems, all that. That's a different. I'll share it some other time. And also every day, Swami used to puzzle us. Thank God we studied science after seeing Swami. Science came to us, after Swami. Sai came first. So it is every day it used to happen. Swami came one day into the portico talking. One boy who was doing gymnastics, he broke his gold ring, and he is asking for the, to replacement. Can you imagine? Both two pieces he shows to Swami. Swami takes two pieces and he puts together and he blows it, like that. The ring is formed. I studies chemistry, sir. I know gold melts at 2000 degrees Fahrenheit. Puttaparthi is warm, but not 2000 degrees Fahrenheit warm. So the gold is melted and formed. So how can he do that? Then Swami beautifully says, Miru chadivedi padartha vijnanamu, nenu cheppedi parartha jnanam. So again in Vrindavan, myself and my friend Raghu, we were sitting. Swami comes and plucks a fruit and gave a devotee. He threw it on us. Actually, we saw the fruit with our own eyes. When Swami went into Vrindavan, we checked that plant very carefully. That plant not even flowers. Forget about fruit. How can you get a fruit out of a non-flowering plant? Botany is gone there. Then there is another student who studied up to studied in this Swami's school, then joined the college. The problem happened is his father came and said, you have to join the engineering. So then he didn't want to leave Swami. Then, Swami said, you should follow your father, go and join the engineering. So he joined the engineering, but before going, he asked Swami, if whenever I come, please talk to me. See, that's what he asked the God. So then Swami said, go, it's fine. He blessed him and said, so he got into a big trouble because he was growing in height. Can you imagine? His doctor said he will become 7.5. Can you imagine that? That is too much of a height for an Indian person. Then he came running to Swami, and Swami just, smilingly, he said, he bent his head with 2 fingers. He tapped on his neck, saying that in Kannada, Udda belidirodu saku buddhi beliyali, saying that let's stop growing in height. Let's grow. Let's your buddhi grow from today. The height on that day remained constant. Can you imagine? The growth stopped. Thyroid activity or pituitary, whatever it is, all the endocrinology is stopped. See, that's why he is the divine endocrinologist. He is beyond these sciences. And Swami asked, boys who want Sai Gita. Everybody felt, how to take Sai Gita home, because you can't take Sai Gita home and, tie it in your house. Then one boy said, Swami, give me the Sai Gita. Then Swami materialized Sai Gita and gave it to him. Like that, he used to play with. Swami came to chemistry lab. This is the way Swami came to our chemistry exhibition, and he's telling Professor Sampath, these boys are doing, some kind of a magic. Can you imagine? Who are we in front of man of miracles? So that's the way Swami plays like a small child. And Swami, one boy showed Swami the molecular structure of camphor. You know what Swami said? What does camphor teaches you? Everybody kept quiet, because then Swami said, camphor teaches you that in the service of God, you don't even leave the traces. Like, when you put camphor and do the harti, now traces remains. That means no trace of ego should remain in Sai service. See, that's what Swami teaches, even a materialistic thing to the spiritual truth. Then let me go quickly. Not only that, Swami used to teach us wonderful truths about Bhagavad Gita. Like, one day he came and said, what is the meaning of Bhagavad Gita? And he even asked Gandikot Subbarao Garu, Subbarao, what is Bhagavad Gita? Then he started telling Karmaneva Adhikarastele, that Swami said, Kucho Kucho. Then he came and started doing Swami's Padaseva. Swami asked boys to sing the first sloka of Bhagavad Gita, Dharma Kshetre, Kurukshetre, Samaveta Yutsavaha. Then Swami said, sing the last sloka of the Gita. Yatra Yogishwara Krishno, Yatra Partho, Dhanurdra, Tatra Sri Vijayur Bhutir Dhuvanitir Matir Mama. Swami says, take the last word of Mama, fuse with the first word of Bhagavad Gita, Dharma. Mama Dharma is your Bhagavad Gita. Do your duty. If you are a computer engineer, do your duty. If you are a husband, you do your duty. If you are a scientist, you can fit anybody into that Bhagavad Gita. Bhagavad Gita is doing your duty. If your duty is, connecting to Prashant Nilayam, you need to do that. That is Bhagavad Gita. So I had opportunity being a Krishna in Bhagavad Gita drama. Swami came and, showed us how Krishna stood while giving Bhagavad Gita. Can you imagine? This was in this was in Hillview Stadium. And, we made a little drama about it actually. Like, Lemmu Dhanunjaya, like, Dharmam Begelichu, Regulan Manta Minta Vivastuni Inta, Saravarsham Tapa. This is Swami's, Bhagavad Gita, one of the things he used to tell as a poem. We made that, and Swami said, like how to stand. Can you imagine? He told even Arjuna, do you have your contact lenses? Because Arjuna used to wear glasses. Swami said, do you have your contact lenses? See, Swami is amazing in direction. And Swami said, how to point the Kauravas. And, then Swami said, what is the age of Krishna and what is the age of Arjuna at the time of Bhagavad Gita? 75 and 80 years. Krishna was 80 years and Arjuna was 75. They went to war, sir. At 75 and 80, for us, it is a war itself. And we are math students, and we came back and thought how old must be Bhishma. He must be. Sorry. Sorry, sir. Sorry. So then that happened. Sorry about that. Then there is another drama where I was a king. This man came, makeup man came from Dharmavaram, and I was a king in that drama. We took care of that. I spoke to them in the local language. I got him food. Then he said, "I'll make you a good king." So he made me a good king with all the crown and all. So this was in the hostel. Swami came, and when I went with all that crown and big mush, which Sai students never have, so Swami started smiling at me, and also I went to touch his feet. I could not touch. This is the way a student, kisses Swami's feet. Then with crown on my head, I could not reach his feet because I was worried that sharp nails will touch Swami's feet. So that happened in a split of a second. Can you imagine how much time you take to just a minute or so? Can you imagine when I became center president in Baltimore? This came to my rescue. Crown on your head comes on his way to reach his lotus feet. Don't take it to your head that you are a center president, regional president, or a national president, or a chairman, or anybody. If you keep that onto your head, take it to your head. Don't take it as an anointment. It is just an appointment, sir. You have to reach his feet. That is the way. This is Sai service. That's why we are selected, or whatever it is. So crown on your head comes on your way to reach Swami's lotus feet. Our aim should be reaching his lotus feet, not wearing the crowns. See, these are the simple things, and I don't know how much time I have. Then one day, boys broke all these, flower pots while going into Vrindavan. This man, that is none other than, wonderful V.K. Narasimhan Garu. He complained to Swami saying that your boys doesn't have discipline, Swami. Swami is like a mother. Swami said, how can you say that? They love me. Can you imagine? Swami, who tells about discipline, is telling this, they love me. Look at outside. Boys are running behind movie stars and movies. They're going around all sorts of things. My boys are running towards me. So like a mother, he protected that day. Then as a father, he used to correct us. This is one quiz in which I was, participating, and I dragged the mic from one of my, teammate for answering correctly. Swami noticed that. So I thought I can avoid Swami for some time, so that Swami will forget. But can you imagine, immediately after that, there was a lunch. I was hiding behind a pillar in Vrindavan, dining hall. Swami comes and he said, hey, he came into my row. I know that he's going to catch me. I went and said, Swami Kshaminchandi, Swami, please forgive me. Then Swami said, he was about to give a nice tight slap. Then I told Swami Kshaminchandi, I told, forgive him, Swami. Then Swami said, Swami kept quiet. He didn't put any hand. Then immediately I took, think Swami was telling a wrong answer, so I have to do that. Swami said, again you speak. It is not about right or wrong. It's not about winning. Sabha Maryada, Swami told me this. It's about how you behave on the stage is more important for me. Marks are not more important to me. Remarks, you should not get a remark. That is what Bhagavan Sri Sai Baba is all about. So let me go quickly, as I don't know how much time I have. So again, we would have never learned Vedam. We learned Vedam to go near to him, touch his feet. Just going near to him only made us to learn all these things. But again, Vedam gave a beautiful, experiences for me. This is the priest, Padmanabha Shastri Garu. He used to do the puja in Mandir, and also every day he used to do puja for this beautiful Swami's picture inside the Mandir. One day when he was doing, he finished the puja and he was about to give Harti. real Swami finishing the interview comes inside and he take the Harti from Padmanabh Shastri Garu. So I felt how many priests will have this kind of wonderful opportunity when you pray to God, the real God appears for the Mangala Arti. So Swami went off. Few days later, there was a Ganesh festival. Being a Vedam student, I was selected by none other than Shivashankar Sai sir, my Vedam teacher, to be a priest for Ganesha. I used to take bath in the morning and evening. I need to take care of the puja of Ganesha. And Swami came. When Swami came, I was doing Ganesha puja. Actually, Swami came into the hostel dining hall. I was, turned towards Ganesha, and as Swami entered, I was, in a loud way, I was doing puja for Ganesha, so that Swami, I want to be known as a priest in front of Swami or something like that. I was telling Sumukaya Nama, Ekadantaya Nama, like that. Swami nicely came, stood right next to me. I could see his Swami's robe. Swami asked warden, where did you get this priest from? So everybody started laughing, and Swami said, the priest and the Ganesha look alike because, in the size. Then Swami said, then everybody laughed, and when Swami was leaving, my warden said, come and, give the Harti to Swami. Can you imagine my puja to Ganesha, my Harti to Sai Ganesha? So I gave the, basically we show the Harti and Swami lights it, and, he, after giving Harti, Swami was walking. I took away the Harti like that. In my left ear, Swami says, Santoshama. Can you imagine that day when, Padmanabh Shastri Garu got that, blessing? I never thought even I wanted it. Swami is the one who gives what you don't ask also. That is why sometimes he'll just give you. That's giving and forgiving is Bhagavan Sri Satya Sai Baba. So that's the way, and this is one experience. My sister got into depression after the second delivery of hers, and family went through quite a bit of trouble. My brother called me and said, can you go and ask Swami to give the prasadam? Actually, I went for prasadam, and Swami took me inside, our morning darshan, and then he took me inside personal interview room, and he said, what's happening? Then I poured down, and actually I cried, and Swami put my head on his lap and patted, saying that don't worry, I am there. You go home and bring your mother and sister. I will cure her. See, that is the only doctor who can say I'll cure her. Not the all other doctors says I will treat only. So Swami goes inside another room, gets 500 rupee notes and puts in my pocket. He's telling, go home and bring them. Can you imagine? Swami is that perfect in his, everything. So I went there, got my family the very next day. Swami gave us interview. When we were all in the room, Swami came inside. So I was, towards the door because all the family members were sitting. My sister was sitting in the middle. Before he goes to his chair, he stopped in front of my sister and said, what happened to you? Then immediately he looked at Swami. Even now she says he saw Narasimha like eyes in Swami. So Swami materialized a lingam. This is the lingam. It is still with my sister. Gave it to her and said, 7 days you put water on it and drink. 7th day you will be all right. Can you imagine? That is the divine doctor. He goes and sits in the chair. My mother falls on Swami's feet and said, Swami, she was crying. And Swami says, as a mother, if you get scared, am I not there? You should never get scared. Leave it to me. I am there. Can you imagine? That is the day I understood what is Divine Mother is. Divine Mother is the mother who takes care of all mother's problems. Can you imagine? See, my mother was consoled that day. Then he called my brother, eldest brother. He said, after your father's, demise, you took care of the family. I'm so happy. And he materialized a Akshay Patra of Vibhuti and gave it to him. See, these are all the family values. Then Swami spoke to my sister and my brother-in-law, who was also there. He said, family should not become, a Korean war. This is what Swami says, Swami's words that day. And Swami told my brother-in-law, when you come from the office, when you have headache, your wife puts Amrutanjan. Amrutanjan is a balm in India, which for the headache. So when your wife is not well, it is your duty to take care of her. So తల్లిదండ్రులు తిట్టుకుంటూ ఉంటే పిల్లలు కొట్టుకుంటూ లేస్తారు. Saying that if wife and husband fight, children become violent. Can you imagine? These are the golden words of Swami. Then he blessed, and unknowingly my sister, suddenly she asked Swami, please take care of Balu. That is me. So then Swami said, I will take care of him. You take care of the little boy you neglected for 3 months. My sister had a small boy. Then he asked me to hold that vibhuti and gave it to everybody. Since I was holding, he put it into in my pocket. So whenever I hear this, sarire jarjari bhute vyadhigraste kalebare aushadam janhavi toyam Vaidyo Narayano Hari. See that when body is in a temple of God, but afflicted by disease, it can become corpse. Water from the doctor will resurrect the health back. That doctor is none other than Narayana, says Vedam. That's what his Swami showed that day. So exactly on 7th day, my sister became all right. That is Swami. So that incident made every time I used to see Swami, I used to cry, because the Swami who used to play with us, who used to, like a direct drama, all these things is entirely different from the Swami who saved my sister. I could see with my own eyes. Then one day Swami came just to take me out of that. I feel Swami came into, after the interview, into the bhajan hall. He said, who is a good boy? So like, lift hand. Can you, in the 60 of us were sitting, I was sitting in the middle. I thought everybody will lift their hand because everybody is good. I'll be left out. So I lifted my hand. So I was alone with a hand up in the, 60 people. Swami, with his index finger, he said, made a way to come to me. When he came to me, he said, how do you know you are good? Then I was on my knees and I said, Swami ki telusu, saying that Swami knows that I am good. Then Swami asked brothers and sisters one beautiful question. Conscience lo confidence unda? This is the question he asked in front of everybody, saying that, see, there is a conscience in us. That is the one which drives us, which tells when you are right or wrong, which takes you to the right direction. So that is what Swami is asking. Do you have a confidence in that conscience, which is none other than God inside? That is the innate divinity. I said, yes, Swami. He was so happy. He said, goodbye, and he patted and gave namaskar, and he went off. The line closed. This is the wonderful incident in my life, guided me professional, personal, in all forms of, whenever I had some kind of a doubt, I thought about it and moved forward. See, that is the way Swami takes care of us at every time, remembering that your conscience is Bhagavan Satya Sai Baba, is constant integrated awareness. Then let me conclude. This is after a long time I went, and on the 3rd January 2011. See, like even at that time, I wrote a poem, on Swami, and Swami came and he took time to read it. That is, whenever I see this picture, I get tears, because even I didn't even worry about Swami's physical, health, but he took so much time to read it. And this is the poem I wrote, saying that Kamalaptuni Kiranamulaku Kanularaga Vichundu Kamalamu Bangin na Hrut Kamalambuno ni Padakambulamulla Narpinchada Nanu Kavaga Vegarave Parthi Vihar, saying that, Swami, I am waiting for you, just like a lotus waiting for the sun to offer this lotus of my heart at the lotus feet of Sai. He took it. Let me, this is the video. We can see it later also. Finally, I just want to conclude, actually, for giving me this wonderful opportunity. Swami used to sing this beautiful poem. From my childhood, it was, I always used to hear this poem called Dhana Murasiga Posinan Daragarani ఆనందమును మీరలందుకొనుడి. తీర్థయాత్రలెన్నో తిరిగినన్ కనరాని ఆనందమును మీరలందుకొనుడి. విద్యలనియు వల్లె వేసినన్ కనరాని ఆనందమును మీరలందుకొనుడి. ప్రాణముల్ బిగబట్టి పలుమార్లు కనరాని ఆనందమును మీరలందుకొనుడి. కాసు ఖర్చు లేదు, కాయ కష్టము లేదు, లేదు సాధనాది బాధ. మనసుకింతయు ఇచ్చి మరి సాయి కడనున్న అందరాని సుఖము పొందగలరు. అందరాని సుఖము పొందగలరు. He says he is the one who gives this ultimate joy which cannot be achieved by cash. You know, even the pilgrimages, reading sacred texts, doing all the sadhanas. He says, "Kaasu kharchu ledu." You no need to spend anything. Just turn towards me. Hold on to him. Don't miss your connection to Prashanti Nilayam. Hold on to him. Come as a family. Come together. We have a new regional officers at SSGC, Texas. Please come together. Those, all the brothers and sisters who are hearing from the other, centers who are not yet joined GC, we welcome all of you. Come together and strengthen, Uncle Paddy Padmanabhan and his team. Recently, we announced the regional team for Texas. Please come together. This is for us, Swami is more important than the people, sir. Swami and Prashanti Nilayam. We cannot live forever. That is our Swami. This is Swami where from there only he preached, and there only he showed the way to all of us. With Swami's this message, I will conclude my talk.
ముఖ్యంగా మన సత్యసాయి సంస్థల యందు ఏ సంస్థ అయినా కానీ అహంకారము, ఆడంబరము, అభిమానము ఈ మూడు ఉంటే మనం పని చేయలేము.
Primarily and basically, in all the wings of Satyasai organization, we should be free from all egotism, all show and all attachments.
ఈ మూడింటిని త్యాగం చేసినటువంటి వాడే సరి అయిన సేవలో పాల్గొనడానికి అధికారి అవుతాడు.
Only that person who sacrifices all these things can get the authority to undertake service activity
కనుక
properly.
స్వామి చెప్పినటువంటి విషయములంతా కూడాను మా మంచి కోసం అనేటువంటి భావమును మీరు తలంచుకొని తద్వారా జరిగిపోయినటువంటి అంతా మరచి రాబోయేటువంటి యొక్క జీవితానికి తగినటువంటి ఆదర్శంగా మీరు నిరూపించాలని నేను ఆశిస్తూ ఆశీర్వదిస్తూ నా ప్రసంగాన్ని విరమిస్తున్నాను.
Whatever Swami has said is in the best interest and the welfare of all of you. And you'll have to take this in this particular spirit, forget the past mistakes and past life, undertake the activity, keeping in view all that Swami has just said in future, and sanctify your lives. Thus Swami is getting his discourse to a close.
Sir, Swami is also saying that, forget the past, whatever has happened last year, all that, we should forget all that, move forward with, connecting to Prashanti Nilayam. Thank you all for giving me this wonderful opportunity. Jai Sai Ram.